Hello, this is Santa Rose, your Blooming Life Guide. And today we're going to talk about how, as a spiritual person or as a light worker, how we navigate challenging, abusive family members. Now, this can include a significant other that you're involved with. It can include family. You could apply what I'm teaching also to abusive people in the workplace or abusive friends. The reason I mention family members is they're the most troublesome because it can be really challenging to reduce contact with them. So let's start with how damaging these relationships are. These are people who have psychologically and possibly even physically abused you. And a lot of family abuse starts when a person is a child. As a result, you develop defense mechanisms to help you survive that abusive environment. And let me be clear that psychological abuse is as destructive as physical abuse. They are both traumas. And you will create defense mechanisms to help you survive abuse. And those defense mechanisms will continue from childhood into adult and continue to wreak havoc in your life. While they may have been protective when you were a child, they're usually destructive in your adulthood to continue using those same defense mechanisms. But it's hard. It's really hard to change because it feels like that's how you're safe. And yet, those same behaviors are not making your life the way your life should be, and it's stopping you from having the fullness and the joy of your life. So I want to talk a little bit about, and my Substack blog post goes into a far more detail than I'm going to go into today. Substack is a free resource that you can use, and when you follow the link to my Substack, you can sign up as a free subscriber. And if you're able to support me and you go into the paid level, I will be honest with you, at the moment, my paid level isn't getting different content than my free levels, but they will. In the future, I will be sharing much more personal stories about myself and some more in-depth and advanced healing techniques that only the people who are paid members will have access to. But for now, everybody is getting all the content that I'm putting out because I'm just starting out getting a group of people together. And then as I form this community, your questions and your input will help me create what is most useful to the people who are able to support me, and also for the free members too. So please go over, subscribe, comment on what is there. There's audio and there's going to be video. At the moment, I don't think there is video. And there's also blog post. So getting back to this. When we are a child and we're going through any kind of traumatic experience, we develop defense mechanisms. The most common one is to be hypervigilant and to be constantly watching and constantly observing the abusive person and trying to gauge their moods and what's going on with them. And our whole focus is on watching for danger. And that keeps us from growing in other areas of our life. It keeps us sometimes stunted emotionally. Sometimes it keeps us from feeling that we can do the things we dream of doing because we're putting so much of our energy into just watching for danger. And as we get into young adult life and later, even people like me in my 60s, we're still impacted by all of this. We still have that tendency to look for danger. We have to heal the wounds of our childhood trauma in order to break completely free. But in the process, you can learn how to shift your focus off of the person who's abused you. And remember, when I talk about abuse, I'm not just talking about any kind of physical contact with you, and that was abusive. I'm also talking about emotional abuse. When you are focused on how they need to change, how You want them to be kind to you for once, how you want them to admit what they've done to you and be sorry that they did it, for them to want you to forgive them. When you're focused on that, you're focused on them and not on yourself and not on your loved ones. And that's a big deal. The most important way for you to spend your energy is on people who you're close to, who bring joy into your life, your loved ones. Now, I don't refer to your abuser as a loved one. I consider them to be a bit of a monster in your life, not a loved one in your life. But you can't give your attention to the people who are loving and good to you if you're so focused still on the abuse and on risk of abuse. In fact, there's people who essentially wear their trauma sunglasses and look at the world for the eyes of something bad's going to happen, that they will ruin significant relationships in their life because they're expecting that person who maybe isn't an abuser to become an abuser over the course of time. That is so deeply unfair. What we need to do is learn how to shift our focus off of the person who has harmed us. And that's hard to do, but it's important that we do it. And it's important that we do it so that we have the energy to do the healing work we need to do for ourselves, so that we can better be the light workers to this world that we were born to be. It's important that you do the healing work. It's worth the hard work. So to begin with, you might find yourself a people-pleasing, or you might find yourself with a lot of revenge kind of, or vengeance kind of thinking. You have all this energy going either toward appeasing the other person, or maybe trying to teach them a lesson, or you have all this energy going out that even if you're not saying it, you're still sending this negative energy that, they should be punished for how they hurt you. That kind of negativity causes all kinds of spiritual havoc. I can see auras. I can see the damage that people do to one another when they're sending out all of this revenge, angry, low vibration energy. The answer isn't to pretend that you don't feel the way you feel, though. The answer is to be present in the moment and not thinking about the past. I have a whole teaching on how to get rid of resentment and how deeply important it is to get rid of resentment. That's a whole different subject, and I'm going to be posting that soon. It's already published, or excuse me, it's already filmed. I just need to get it out. The important part here is that I want you to understand why mindfulness and getting present in the moment is so important. Because when you get mindful and get present in the moment, your focus is on right now and who's with you right now, and on developing a relationship with your higher self, a deeper, loving relationship with your higher, wiser self is a crucial part of healing from past trauma. And you can't do that if all of your focus is on the person who abused you. And I can hear people saying now, well, of course not all my focus is on them. I have a job, I have children, I have pets, I have friends and other family that aren't abusive. But when it comes down to it, if on a regular basis you're really venting about how awful this person is, or you're just being so very careful and tiptoeing around them all the time, that is using up a lot of your energy that needs to go toward your healing. So the first step is to shift your focus away from trying to change the other person who hurt you or trying to appease them, and shift it back to mindfulness and being present in the moment. That is how you start to feel better, but it's more than that. That is also how you raise your vibration, because resentfulness and vengeance thinking and panic anxiety, they're going to hurt me thinking, those are low energy vibrations. And I'm not telling you to pretend you don't have those feelings. I'm saying that when you get present in the moment, you have less of those thoughts automatically, because in the moment, the past hasn't happened. The future hasn't happened. It's only right now. Mindfulness is a very important part of healing. Now, when we bring ourselves into full alignment with all of our chakras by getting fully grounded in our body, we are also doing spiritual healing that heals us from the trauma, but it also enables us to have better access to our higher, wiser self, our soul self, that allows us to make better decisions, that allows us to navigate things with a lot more kindness and high vibration energy. So this is why I encourage people to regularly do mindfulness techniques. And yet it's so hard because so many of the people I work with are still worried that they're going to get hurt by this somebody, even if it's not just the person who abused them. They've got this idea that others will abuse them too, and they're on the guard for it. And it's just too hard to stop being worried about somebody hurting them or resentful about somebody hurting them because they think resentment helps them. It doesn't. Of course, resentment is not helpful in any way whatsoever. And it's not forgiveness that you need to go to. That's too far the other direction. Becoming present in the moment and becoming neutral toward that person, reducing your contact with them. The term I use is gray rock, like you're a big stone and they can't get anything out of you. They don't get any emotional energy from you. They don't, one way or the other. You're not appeasing them and you're not aggressive with them. You're just neutral and you're withdrawing your energy away from the focus on them. And they will more and more leave you alone. I mean, they might get worse first before they leave you alone, but they will eventually leave you alone, especially if you put boundaries in place. Now, a boundary is not just telling somebody, please don't do that. That's assertiveness, and there's nothing wrong with assertiveness. A boundary is a rule you have that when somebody hurts you, you get away from them. You don't appease them. You don't try to get even with them. You don't give them your energy any more than their harming you has done already. You withdraw from them. You move them out of your circle. If this is a family member that you can't completely cut off contact with, then you withdraw your emotional energy when you have contact. You stay very neutral with them and you keep what you have to say just to the minimum. Like you share custody and you have to communicate about the child, then you only communicate about the child and you don't let them get anywhere else. If it's you decided that you can't put a parent out of your life for multiple reasons why people feel that they can't do that, then when you do have contact with them, it's very neutral. It's just asking them how their health is and giving them a little bit of support, but not giving them your emotions. It's gray rocking them. And also, by the way, if you decided that you really want to cut a family member out of your life, you have the right to do that. It is not wrong to take the steps needed for you to heal. It was really hard for me to cut my mother out of my life. And there are people in my family who did not understand, and they were mad at me for doing it. But it was worth it. Even though I had to deal with some judgment from others, I healed faster because I got somebody out of my life that, even though I was a full-grown adult, was still psychologically abusing me. And my assertiveness that didn't have any boundaries, just telling her to stop, only made her worse, almost made her cackle with joy that I was even upset with her. You know, there's some really awful people who gave birth to children. And she had a lot of positive qualities that other people saw because she's a covert toxic person, not an obvious one. So she was really nice to everyone else, and nobody could see the side of her that she showed to me, which is also a little bit of crazy making, because then you begin to wonder if you're seeing it wrong, which you're not. You're not seeing it wrong. No. When somebody repeatedly hurts you, they're a toxic person. And if somebody accidentally once in a while hurts you because they're unconscious, that's a loved one who made a mistake. That's where forgiveness comes in. Somebody who's honestly didn't intend to hurt you and they really are sorry that they did. It's legitimate. They don't normally hurt you. They're not the kind of person who normally hurts anybody. You notice that about them. That's where you forgive. You don't forgive a toxic person who actually takes joy in causing you harm. You don't forgive them. You remove your emotional energy from them, and you certainly move your focus off of them. Because as long as you are focused on them, you're not in the present moment and you're not healing. You're in low energy vibration. And you cannot heal in that place. You cannot heal in a place where you don't have the energy to give yourself the compassion that your inner parts need. You're too emotionally burnt out. The way to heal, number one, first step, is mindfulness and getting fully present in all of your chakras, getting fully in and grounded in your body. That doesn't mean you have to go out and walk barefoot in the grass. I have a 5-minute video that gets you fully grounded. If that 5-minute video is too short, which for some people, they complain that it is too short, you can do a body scan video. Cooperman Clips on YouTube has a 10-minute body scan video that I like very much. But you can also get body scan videos on almost any mindfulness app or video channel or podcast channel. When you do the 5-minute Get Present video, though, it specifically has wording and language in it that is designed to bring your soul self, your eternal self, fully into your body. It's designed to be a spiritual healing, not just a mindfulness process. Even though I may not mention chakras, it is about aligning your astral chakras and your physical chakras together. And I have a lot more teaching on those subjects. If you didn't understand what I just spoke about, I will happily do more videos on those subjects. But I do have some videos on chakras on my YouTube channel. So this is why I am bringing this out, is because I get all the time people that I'm trying to help get more present in the moment, and they're stuck on hyper-focusing on their abuser. And when I explain to them that they're actually destructive to their own healing process as long as they stay hyper-focused on them, they get confused. They don't understand. And then sometimes people will admit to, angry, aggressive thoughts about the person who has abused them. And they will feed on that aggressive, angry thinking, like that person was wrong to do it. I wish something bad would happen to them, or wondering why karma doesn't give them some back of what they've been giving out. That's not helpful. It's not helpful for you to be focused on how they need to be punished or they need to change. Just like it's not helpful for you to figure out how to appease them so they won't hurt you. They're going to keep hurting you. If they are a toxic person who has been hurting you, expect them to stay the same. But getting even with them and trying to get your point across doesn't help either. And vengeful thinking does not help. And certainly it doesn't help to actually act on any aggressive thoughts. Please don't be harmful to others. Focus instead on your healing and not on fixing them, which again means turning your focus off of them. So again, as I mentioned earlier, you do not need to forgive. This is not a forgiveness process. This is a detachment process. This is no longer caring about an outcome when it comes to that other person, but deeply caring about an outcome when it comes to your healing, and not perpetuating family dynamics by any of your actions and things that you do as well, trying to end the cycle of toxic family dynamics by you being loving and caring to your caregiver, to your people that you care for your loved ones. I teach how to heal from trauma to my spiritual clients. I also teach how to heal from trauma to psychotherapy clients, but my psychotherapy clients have to live in Michigan and be physically present in Michigan when I have the sessions. And I only see people for psychotherapy that I can bill their insurance and I only accept a limited number of insurances. So there's some limitations to that. I do not take on a lot of spiritual counseling clients, but I do have openings at the moment as I'm recording this. And I often do have openings, even if there's a brief period where I'm full. Within a couple weeks, I usually have another opening. So the wait list isn't that long. When you sign up for spiritual counseling with me, you pay for each session as you go. You don't sign up for a contract. You pay for one session at a time. And then when you need the next one, you sign up for the next one. You'll get more benefit from working with me when you meet with me every other week, but once a month, although I don't recommend once a month, there can be benefits from once a month, especially if you do active work on yourself between sessions. I know how to help you heal. I have healed myself and I have healed many other people. And even if you can't afford to get spiritual counseling with me, sign up to my Substack because I teach techniques that you can use on your own to heal yourself. And I really want you to be a part of my community, and I want to be a part of your healing process, whether it's a free member of my Substack or whether it's you're able to afford to have direct work with me one-on-one. In the future, my Substack community will have an option for people to have group work with me. And I have enjoyed some group work that I've already done minimally in the past, and I would love to do a small group. When I did the group work in the past, it was 2 or 3 people that met with me as a group, and each person got part of the time with me one-on-one, but everyone got to hear the work I did with the other ones so that they could learn. If you're interested in group work, that would be wonderful, but I can't do a group unless I have at least 3 people who are committed to having regular every other week sessions for group. And group, by the way, is less expensive than one-on-one. So that is a way maybe that you could afford it. You could go on the waiting list for group sessions when I have enough people to start one. The best way to reach me is by email, senta@bloominglifeguide.com. Senta is spelled SENTA at bloominglifeguide.com. And the link to my website, which has my email and contact information and information about signing up for services, will be available in the description box. So until next time, have a blooming life.